Hello students, hope you all are good at your places, especially in this pandemic. So better stay home, stay safe. Now let's start with your 11th class English. So this is the first chapter from your textbook Hornbill. The name of the chapter is The Portrait of a Lady. The author of this chapter is Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh have written this chapter. He is the author of this chapter, and the chapter is about the portrait of a lady. The portrait of a lady. This is the chapter 1 from your textbook Hornbill. As you are having the two textbooks, Hornbill and the another Snapshots. So this is the first chapter from that book. And the author of this chapter is Khushwant Singh, who have written the chapter The Portrait of a Lady. Now, who is Khushwant Singh and what is the connection between the Khushwant Singh and the portrait of that lady? Why this chapter have been written by the Khushwant Singh? What is the motive behind writing this chapter? So let's read about the author. Let's know about the author. Who is the author? The Khushwant Singh is a senior prominent Indian novelist come journalist, and he was born on 2nd Feb in 1915 at Hudali in British India, that is now a part of Punjab in Pakistan, which is a part of Punjab at present Pakistan, and a significant post-colonial writer in the English language. Khushwant Singh is known for his clear-cut secularism, humor, and a deep passion for poetry. He is especially known for his emotional way of writing. His assessment and comparison of social and behavioral traits of people from India and the West is full of outstanding wit. Whatever the poem, whatever the novels, or whatever the information he's writing, especially, it is fully of wit, it's fully wisely written. So, here he is the Khushwant Singh, the author of the chapter A Portrait of a Lady. Now, theme. The chapter, what is the theme of this chapter? The chapter, The Portrait of Lady, written by Khushwant Singh, revolves around the emotional attachments. Emotional attachments between whom? Him and his grandmother. So now you come to know what that portrait of lady, who is that lady? The lady is the grandmother of the author Khushwant Singh. So this chapter is based on the emotional attachment between the author and his grandmother. The chapter is divided into three phases. This chapter is basically divided into three phases. First phase, when the author and grandmother lives in a village, right? It is divided into three phases. First is when author is living along with the grandmother in the village and had close contact with each other. This was the first phase. Now the second phase, when they came to the city. First, they were living in the village, and due to some certain circumstances, they were supposed to shift to the city. Later on, you will come to know why they have shifted to the city. And the last phase, the third phase, when the author left the city and grandmother for study. The first phase, when he was living along with the grandmother in the village. Second, when they shifted to the city, right? And the third phase, when the author left the city as well as grandmother for the further study. That means he left abroad. From that place, he have shifted to some other place for the educational purpose. So these were the three phases. This chapter is divided into this three phases. And when he came back, found grandmother alive. But after a few days, the religious and the sentimental lady died. Now, what adjectives have been used about the grandmother? That she was religious, quite spiritual, and the sentimental, emotionally attached. And when she died, the sparrows had scattered on the floor without any chirping, whom she used to feed earlier. And what other incident took place? That she used to love these sparrows, and when she passed away, when she died, at that time the sparrows were sitting on the floor, but they were not chirping, they were not making any noise. And the reason, the sparrow was feeded by this old lady. And the author wants to convey that birds, animals, and living creatures other than human beings also have emotions. Now here, what the what the author's motive is. He wants to convey, he wants to tell the message, he wants to give the message. Not only the human beings are having the emotions, but also the creatures, the animals, the birds also have the emotions the way we human beings are having. Nowadays, there is one video going viral that where a man is lying on the bed and one pigeon is coming and sitting on his body. Why? Because just far away from that, little bit far away from this hospital, there was, he used to feed these pigeons on regular basis. And as nobody came from his home, that the pigeon used to come and daily visit that fellow. So these things are happening, that the animals are also having the emotions. It's not the animals don't have, the animals are quite better as compared to the human beings, especially nowadays in this pandemic, whatever we are going through, right? So now let's check about the grandmother. Now you can see the grandmother here, the characteristics of the grandmother, that she was friendship, she was friendly, nature friendly, back bent slightly. Obviously, as it is the grandmother, she's the old lady, she'll be little bit bended. Her back will be little bit bent. And she was the religious lady too. She was quite religious, young and pretty, as there is one incident in the chapter where the picture of the grandfather was hang on the mantelpiece of that wall, where the grandfather was not that much young and pretty as compared to the this grandmother. She's quite young and pretty, that's why the adjectives were used for her. And wrinkled face, short and fat. Now what are the characteristics? That she, obviously the word old lady, the grandmother, that means she was having the wrinkled face, but still nobody can say that she is the old lady. Now let's go for the next part. Now let's check the summary of the chapter, that what this chapter is revolving around. Right, as we have just seen the gist of the chapter, now let's check. As we have already seen the gist, now summary of the chapter is as close friends. Now, as already we know that this chapter is revolving around grandmother and the narrator, the author Khushwant Singh. So this is a portrait of the grandmother. That is clear. Now, as close friends, what is the relation between the Khushwant Singh and her and his grandmother? The narrator and his grandmother were good friends. His parents had left him here in the village. They were always together. Now, as even nowadays it's happening where the kids are living with the grandmother. So here the bonding was there. The grandmother and his grandson Kushwant Singh, they were having a bond like a friend. When his parents left, they left the Kushwant Singh with grandmother in the village. So he used to live with his grandmother in the village. They were always together. She used to wake him up in the morning. She got him ready for the school. Now, as being the grandmother, she used to perform the duties of the mother. So, what else the things were performed, the duties which have been done by the mother? Now, here that duties were done by the grandmother. She used to wake him up. She used to get him ready for the school. And she said her morning prayer in an unchanging sing song, means just in a monotonous way. That is unchanging sing song. She would wash his wooden slate and plaster it with yellow chalk. Now, as she's making him ready for the school, at that time she used to clean the slate, the writing slate, and she used to write something with the yellow chalk stick on that. And she would take an earthen ink pot and the red pen. Earthen ink pot. The old times, in the olden times, they were having the ink pots with the red ink in that, and with that, with the help of the stick or the piece, they used to write. So that kind of earthen ink pot and the red pen, and she would tie them in a bundle and hand it to the him. That means she used to take care of the Kushwant Singh the way mother is taking that. Now if you're going to the school, your mother will pack the tiffin box for you, your mother will pack your bags, right? She'll keep your compass box, pencil, everything. So here the words have been used, the slate and the red earthen ink pot with the ink. And she would give him a thick stale chapati. Stale means which is a prepared a day earlier, right? Or at night time, that is stale. So Now this is what your mother is preparing you for the school, and she is packing your lunch or packing your tiffin box. Same here, the grandmother is packing the tiffin box. By what she is doing? She would give him a thick stale chapati. Okay, she would give him a thick stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it. Now, as the grandmother is preparing the tiffin box, and what she's keeping in that box, she's keeping a thick, means very bold and stale chapati where the butter is spread and a little bit sugar on it. And she carried several stale chapatis with her for meet the village dogs. Now, as she is giving the tiffin box, along with that, she used to carry the other stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. Now, went to school with the narrator. Now, even she used to go along with the narrator, the author, Khushwant Singh, to the school. That both the writer and his grandmother were good friends, as already I told that they were the good friends, as the parents left him with the grandmother at the village, and as the parents were in the city, every day the duty of the grandmother was only there to wake him up and make him ready for the school, and uttering means to speak, to sing that monotonous. Here in the previous slide also I already told you that she used to sing that monotonous song while she was bathing. The writer liked her very much. Whom did the writer like? Her grandmother. His grandmother was going to school with him because there was a temple near the school, and she would sit among the children and listen to the priest prayer. Along with that, she used to take the stale chapatis and give it to the dog. That stale chapatis were given to the dog, and after that there was one temple where the children were sitting, and she used to listen to the priest prayer whenever she was going. Now, the turning point in relationship, when there was the turning point, when the turning point of that relationship came, when the writer's parents were settled in the city. Now, as the writer's parents, they got settled, right? Previously, they asked the grandmother and the Khushwant Singh, to the narrator, to be in the village till the time they get settled. Now they have settled in the city, and they sent for them. That was a turning point in their friendship. Now they got settled, and now they asked the Khushwant Singh to come back along with the granny in the city. Both the writer and his grandmother started spending days separately, and the writer became separated from the close relation with his grandmother. Now, as he went back to the city, as the parents have settled, now they called the Khushwant Singh, the narrator, back to the city. So now they started living separately. That means grandmother and the narrator started living separately. The narrator went to an English school in the motor bus. Now he's not in the village. Now he shifted to the city. So city life is quite different. Now he started going to the school in the motor bus, means bus. Previously, her grandmother used to come and she used to drop him to the school, and there were no dogs in the streets. Now compared the city life and the village life. When the Khushwant Singh, the narrator, used to go to the school at that time, the grandmother used to accompany him, with where she used to carry the stale chapatis, the thick stale chapatis, and where she used to give to the dogs on the streets. But now, as the Khushwant Singh, the narrator, have shifted to the city where the parents have settled, now here he started going in the bus. So there are no dogs on the street, and the grandmother took to feed the sparrows. Years rolled by, and now the grandmother who have shifted, now she started giving the food to the sparrows instead of the dogs. Now years rolled by. The grandmother and the grandson saw less of each other now. Now they are seeing very less to each other now. She hated English and science. She don't love English and science, which was quietly taught in the city schools, and she was hating. What was the reason behind that hatred? That she felt said that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures at the new school. Now, what was the reason why she used to hate the English and science? Because she was a spiritual lady, the religious lady. As even we know that the old people, they are quite having the love for the God. So same year she was thinking that there should be some teaching about the God in the school. So as the spiritual thoughts were not taught in the school, so that is the reason she used to hate English and science. When he reported her about the music lesson he was being taught, his grandmother felt sorrow because she knew that the music had been associated with chariots, and she said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. There is one incident where the she came to know that the musics have been taught in the school, and which is not quite in a better way, the modern way kind of music, which is not better. So she didn't spoke anything, she remained silent. It means that she was not loving, that was her disapproval. Next, bond of friendship broken. Now when the friendship bond broken, when the writer went to university, he was allotted a room for his saying. Now, when this bond have been totally broken that day, previously they used to meet but very less. But now it has been broken. Why? Because he have been went to university. The narrator went to university, and from as he went, the room have been allotted for staying from that university itself. The common link of their friendship was broken. The grandmother accepted her loneliness quietly. His grandmother spent time with her spinning sheet. Now, as the grandson, the Kushwan Singh, the narrator, have been shifted in that allotted room by the university. Now, grandmother have accepted that loneliness, and now she started spending her most of the time in that spinning wheel. And from sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel spinning and reciting prayers. As already I told that she was a spiritual lady, religious lady. So she used to spin the wheel, right? And along with that spinning, she used to recite, she used to speak some, she used to chant some prayers. In the afternoon, she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. She broke the bread into little bits and threw them to the sparrows. What she used to do in the afternoon times, she used to relax, and while relaxing, what she used to do, she used to make the small pieces of that bread and she used to feed that to the sparrows. The bits of that bread she used to throw, and the sparrows used to have it. And she was always getting surrounded by sparrows that were perching on her legs. Most of the time she was surrounded by the sparrows, and even the sparrows used to perch on his legs. Perch means to sit in a relaxed way, perching, to sit on that. So the sparrows used to relax on her legs and shoulders. The sparrow started sitting on the shoulders, the legs, and on the lap, and some even sat on her head. She never drove them away. Even some of them have sat on her head, but still she didn't drove them away. Didn't do go. No, she showed the love for them. Feeding the sparrows was the happiest half hour of the day for her. That feeding the sparrow was the happiest time for of a day for her, because most of the time she was not coming in touch with anybody. So to feed with the sparrows was the happiest time, happiest half hour of the day for her. Now another time, now when the bond of that friendship totally broken, when the narrator goes abroad, when the narrator went abroad, when the writer, the narrator, decided to go abroad for the further studies, and his grandmother would be upset. Now as the narrator decided for the further education to move abroad, and at that time the grandmother was upset, but she came to leave him at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotions, as she have accepted that the grandson, the narrator, the writer, is going to move abroad for the further education purpose. Still, she went to bid off him to the railway station, but she didn't utter a word. She didn't show her emotions. She kissed his forehead silently. The narrator thought that it was the last sign of physical contact between them. Now, she was at the it is the time when feel that this is the last physical touch from her, as if that kind of feeling was there with the narrator, the writer. The narrator thought that it was a last sign of physical contact between them. She was totally absorbed in a prayer, and her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. Now, as when we chant the mantras, we are having the beads, the rosary beads, right? So same, now she started speaking less, and most of the time she used to go for the prayer, or she used to perform the prayers, she used to chant the mantras, and most of the time she started spending in the mantras or that prayers. Now celebrated the homecoming of her grandson, as it was quite clear that his grandson went for the further education purpose. So after some time he is going to return back. So now there was the celebration of the homecoming of her grandson. The narrator returned home after 5 years, right? That the narrator, he came back from that. Now, where he went, he returned back from there after 5 years. As already it was told that he went for the education purpose, right? So the grandmother did not look a day older. And when the grandson returned back from his journey, at that time when he met the grandmother, he finds that the grandmother is still looking that the way when he left. It is, she was not looking that much older. And in the evening, a change came over her. The author could feel her pulse as usual, and her sparrows were with her. She didn't pray. Now, when he came at that time in the evening hours, he finds something change in that the pulse was not that much normal, and even she was not praying on that day. And her sparrows were with her. She didn't pray. That evening she was seen very happy, spending time with the older women folk. She collected all the women of the neighborhood, as it was the arrival time of his grandson, whom she was very attached, whom she was very close with. So she called the other ladies, the neighborhood ladies, and she had a celebration, a small gathering with them. How she have celebrated? She collected all the women of the neighborhood. She took old drum and started singing. Right? She started playing the drum and singing. It was the joyous time for her. She continued thumping the old drum for several hours. Thumping means to beat the drum for several hours, as she was celebrating the arrival of the homecoming of his grandson. She sang of the homecoming of the warriors. They had to persuade her stop. Singing and beating of the drum could make her tired. For the first time she forget to pray. It was the first time that she didn't utter a prayer, as she was quite happy with the arrival of his grandson. Even the neighborhood ladies or the grandson make him stop, that the thumping of this beats, the beating the drum will make her tired. That's why they asked her to stop. She was not ready to stop. Now the grandmother's death. The next morning she fell ill. She was not feeling well the next morning, right? Doctor was called for, and he told that the fever was mild and she would be well within a short time, right? As a prior evening she was enjoying the homecoming ceremony of this grandson. She was enjoying, but next day she fell ill and the doctor was called up, and the doctor announced that it is just a mild fever and she'll be okay within short time. And she declared that her end was near, as she feel that she can see her death, and she have declared that my end time is near. She didn't want to waste away more time talking to them. She laid peacefully in the bed. Now she don't want to waste her time talking with everyone. She laid peacefully on her bed, and she continued praying and telling her beads. Now, as she know that her death time is near and she is inching towards the death, she stopped talking with others. She don't want to waste the time having discussion with others, so she started chanting the mantras, or she keep reciting the prayers. Then her lips stopped moving. After some time it was noticed that her lips stopped moving. Next time she breathed her last. That was the time when she breathed her last. That was her death. And the rosary fell down from her lifeless fingers. That beads which she was chanting, the mantras, the prayer, it fall down from her lifeless body, and she was dead. She was laid on the ground. Her dead body was covered with the red shroud. Now, as her dead body was now covered with the shroud, now it was the lifeless body. Now, mourning of the sparrows. Mourning means to show the pain, the ache, the sorrow, right? It was evening, the sun was setting. Then the funeral arrangements and proceedings went on. It was now the evening time, and the funeral procedures were going on, where she was supposed to wrapped in that red shroud, and the dead body of the grandmother was covered with the shroud. It was the evening time, so the funeral arrangements were happening, and the dead body of the mother grandmother was covered with a red shroud. A crude stretcher was brought to take her to the cremated. As we know that the Christians, they are supposed to bury it, so the funeral procedures were going on, and her dead body was kept on that stretcher. A stretcher have been called, a crude stretcher was brought, and to take her to that cremation to get buried. By that time, thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. As it was the cremation time, the number of sparrows whom she used to feed, now they were sitting, scattering on the floor. They were sitting here and there on the floor. There was no chirping. Nobody was, not even a single sparrow chirping. Everyone felt sorrow for the birds. The narrator's mother brought bread and broke it into little crumbs. Now, all the people, including the narrator, the narrator's mother, and the father, whosoever was standing, they were feeling really sorry for the sparrows, sorry, for the birds, the sparrows, those who were sitting on that, where now whom they are not going to get fed by the grandmother. So they were really feeling sorry for them. So what did the mother did? The narrator's mother, what she did, she brought bread and broke it into the little crumbs, little pieces. Crumbs means pieces. She brought the bread and made it into the pieces. She threw those crumbs to them. Now, as the grandmother used to do, what she did, she brought that pieces and brought that bread and broke it into the pieces and give it to the birds. But what happened? The birds took no notice to them. The bird didn't notice to that piece of bread. And when the corpse was taken, corpse means dead body was taken, the sparrows flew away quietly. Right? When the dead body was taken for the cremation, the sparrows who were sitting, they didn't take the notice of that bread pieces which were thrown by the narrator's mother. And as the cremation for the corpse was taken for the cremation, the birds flew away quietly without making any sign. And here's the end of the portrait of a pious lady. This is the end. Hope you have enjoyed the chapter. See you soon for the next. Thank you. Stay home to be continued for the next chapter. Hope you all understood the thing. If any doubt, any queries are there in your mind, you can jot down, you can drop the message or in the comment box. Bye bye all of you.